for or your phone for, so that nobody knows when you're recording a game or something. I'm trying to see why you didn't look at your phone from the time you left the house all the way until you got to your spot.
Because usually nobody contacts me at all in the morning.
No,
But the one time that 5 people called you.
No, you knew that there was a possibility for bad weather, and they closed schools for that time. Anyway, whatever. Let's move past this.
First, that was
That
another
was
thing.
an
I didn't
asinine-
realize. I didn't think the weather was that bad at all because it was hardly damp where I was.
It was not bad, but they closed it
They closed
anyway.
it anyway,
Exactly.
because some places were bad.
Yeah. Anyway, so
God saw favor in you because you have record into driving into lakes in bad weather.
Oh, he sure did in that.
Trying to
first
go to
off,
work.
I have never driven into a lake.
It turned out. I mean, it was
I have
that
never
time, you know what I'm
driven
saying?
into a lake.
Lake Mount Dry. Oh.
It was high water off of the exit of the freeway
Again, a lake.
that I didn't realize was water because it was 4 in the morning and it was dark.
Hey, you gotta see the pattern, everybody.
First,
You
it
see
was
the
not in
pattern.
the middle of the thunderstorm. The weather was good.
It was in the middle of a known
And his job
storm
informed
effect.
him not to come out there.
No, my job actually said if you can make it to come on in.
If was a fifth. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if
Anyway.
was a fifth.
Anyway.
We'd all be here.
Yeah, we would be.
So, I thought everybody at council school because they was, hungover from the Rockets loss.
Could have.
No, the Rockets lost was Friday.
Roma beat you.
That was the day.
Oh yeah, that was the day of. Oh yeah, so they just compound the fact that everybody was underwater and didn't go and lose at home. So, fellas, I mean, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it. Once again, facing elimination with a few things in their favor, the Rockets come up small. For those of you who might be under a rock and have no idea,
Who was that?
the Houston Rockets were eliminated from the playoffs by the Golden State Warriors. What was the final score? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
104? No, one something.
It
Yeah, they
doesn't
lost
matter.
about 4.
Anyway, the Rockets lost game 6 at home.
104-99. I was in the house.
Uh-oh.
So I
Senior
heard.
correspondent.
You know?
Yeah.
Senior Rocket correspondent, Maud Day.
And I was there strictly as a fan.
Man, that's a big shot.
And a lot of weird ass Houstonians that never even been west of San Antonio.
So now, before you get into that, let me ask you this,
Wanna be
because
Warriors fans.
watching it on TV,
Yeah.
the energy looked flat in the arena. Was it as flat as it appeared to be? Like, were people just really not believing that the team looked like they didn't believe they could win, and the crowd looked like they didn't believe the Rockets were going to win? Was it really that flat inside?
I mean, to be honest, Houston crowds ain't the best.
Fair weather.
That's what they call us. They say we fair weather.
Nah, it's not even fair weather. Like, it's not even, it doesn't jump like it used to. I remember going to playoff games back in I was in there when we got eliminated by Utah. Me and my mother in the
Which
old
one?
Summit.
Wait,
96,
Yeah,
yeah,
three.
the Stockton shot.
The legendary shot. And the energy back then was much better. I don't know. It's just a new age type of deal.
I don't know if it's a new age.
Yeah, it is, because our arena's never, like, even when I've been to Saints games, I've been to Texans games, and it doesn't compare. I've been to Rockets games, and even when you watch Golden State on TV and watch how their fans are, it's a little bit different. I'm going to need the Houston, I don't know, the Houston fans just aren't rowdy.
Or is it just a fact of the matter is a realistic evaluation of the team?
No,
Like,
what
what I mean by that is,
No, it's not that at all. It's just the nature of this city.
well, no, because the reason I say that is because oftentimes Houston teams are perpetrating contention.
No, they were winning pretty
What
much
the
the whole
fuck?
game.
What does that mean?
I'm getting ready to tell you what it means. They send out.
That's an absurd statement.
It's
You
not
don't
an
need
absurd
perpetrating
statement.
contention means
Every
that you're
year
not
they
gonna
act
win.
as if they have put out a team that is contending for a title, and they are not. Not in football, not in basketball. Just recently have we become a contender in baseball. Yes, we won the World
A
Series 2
winner
years.
and a contender are two different terms,
Yeah,
bro.
they're definitely a contender.
We have been contenders in football, never.
Yeah,
We have
in
been contenders in
basketball,
basketball several times.
When?
And we have been contenders in baseball the
The
last
few
5
that
years,
we lost
4
to the
years.
Eventual world.
We've been winners
Western
in
Conference
one.
champions. Oh Jesus.
That's it.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about all of this false belief. Like I remember during football season, when I was telling you, Texas are pretenders. Y'all was like, oh no, they not. No.
And the
But
Texans
every
went to the
game of
playoffs and
significance,
won the
every
playoff
game of
game.
significance on the schedule, they lost.
The phones ain't working.
The phones are not working. Who's
Wait a
trying to
minute.
call?
Lamar Jennings is trying to call in.
Yeah.
Favorite fan. Yourselves fans,
The
favorite
phones are
fan.
not working.
713-489-0688.
Y'all want Hamad to call in.
713-489-0688. Yeah, come on, Maud. I'm waiting on you, brother.
Why
713-489-0688.
So now,
88.
I've been saying the same thing about the Rockets. You're better than 12 teams. But being better than 12 teams is not gonna win you a championship. It's 16 teams in the West. You're better than 12 of them. That's not gonna win you a championship.
Why are you better than? Okay, go ahead. Finish the statement.
What did they finish in the West?
For the last 5 years, the Rockets have lost to one team. For the last 5 years, one team
So why do
has
you
won
keep-
the championship.
You know, that sounds like a loser.
It's
Anybody who
definitely
keeps
a
trying to
loser.
hang, anybody who
It's
keeps trying to hang
definitely
their
a
hat,
loser.
anybody keeps
I'm
trying to
saying-
hang their hat on losing.
I am simply
That's a
saying,
loser.
Hey,
They're saying that
the
they're
whole-
not
the whole-
better than 5 other teams in the league. I don't agree with that. They're not better than one
That
other
makes-
team in the league.
That makes the whole NBA loser.
Thank you. And then I was gonna say, and then
Is the whole
Hold on.
NBA not
Hold on.
losers?
And Eddie Kane
Only
needs to
one
be
person-
talking
only
to
one person
every
won.
other team but the Golden State Warriors.
Only
That's
one other
it.
team
Why did we
won.
not play Eddie Kane when
What?
he beat
Oh.
lost it when they
You
won
can
in
say he's
7
talking to
games?
whoever he want to be talking to. That's fine. The Rockets claim to be obsessed with Golden State.
They are.
You're obsessed with them,
You can
and
be
you're
obsessed.
not good enough.
I mean, but
Yes,
all the
that's
other
an accurate
teams,
statement, my friend.
So-
that is a very accurate statement.
all the other teams are not obsessed, and they
And are not
Sure.
good enough.
So which one is worse? Being obsessed with a team and can't beat them, or just trying to be better every year
They're
and,
equally-
and progressively getting better every year?
The one that's just trying to be better every year. The one who doesn't obviously see what the goal should be for you to reach for.
Denver's not obsessed, and they
No,
seem
and-
to be better than the
and
Rockets
you
this
didn't
year.
even feel that they.
There's
How
no
were they
reason
better
to
than the
have
Rockets? They
success,
lost to
haven't been
Portland.
good.
They didn't even make it to.
They finished further than the Rockets did this year.
And they lost in the exact same
They
spot
lost
to a
in the
lesser
same
team.
round.
Well, actually, they lost in the same round, yes, but they finished the season with a better record.
Okay.
Not against.
They
the
kept the
Rockets,
Rock. Yes, they did.
No, not against
No,
the
They
Oklahoma City kept us.
They
One
kept the Rock.
13-point
Which
blown
goes
lead.
back to my statement. They're not good enough.
Cool,
Because
they're
any
not.
game where they had to win, a must win, they did not win.
They're not good enough. That is quite evident. They're not good enough to beat the Golden State Warriors 4 out of 7 times. I would wholeheartedly agree with that. My next statement would be, who is?
Nobody.
one person.
So then
No,
it's a
one
moot
team.
point, bro.
One team out of
Let's
5 years
congratulate them.
One
And let's
team
tell
out
the
of 5
Rockets to
years
do
was,
better.
yes. One team out of 5
And
years.
let's
guess
tell
what
the
that one
Clippers to
team
do
was?
LeBron.
Absolutely.
And guess what? That one person
We
did not
talking
do.
about the Rockets. Y'all talking about the rest of the league, that's fine.
No, I'm talking about the
We
Rockets.
talking about the Rockets.
I'm talking about the Rockets. They will never beat Golden State Warriors in a series.
Oh, look how our song has changed. Because this year, y'all was saying they could do it.
And
I
they
still think they
could do it. And then they did not do it.
They couldn't do it, and that's why they didn't do it.
It's easy to say they
Well,
couldn't when they
but-
did.
and supposedly they know what it takes to do it, and they just didn't do it. This is what James Harden had to say about it.
have a sense of what needs to happen to get over this hurdle? Even if the roster stays the same, is there something about either the way you guys play or what you can take from these experiences that gets you the next step that they've stopped each time?
I know what we need to do. I know exactly what we need to do. Just we'll figure it out this summer.
No, he does not.
No, he does know. They need to win.
Yeah, that's
They
pretty
need
much
to
it.
effing win. That's it. How
So-
they gonna do that? Nobody knows. But they need to win, which is just as simple of a statement as you have made the entire beginning of the show.
Yes,
They
yes,
basically
yes,
and
yes,
ultimately need to win. If that means kicking everybody in the knee, then put your Patrick Beverly on and kick them in the knee. You need to win.
They are woofers, man. That's what they do. They woof. They woof, 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 woof.
But at least they play them.
What does that mean?
No.
Denver doesn't get a chance
I
to
don't
even
agree
play
with
them.
woofing.
Well, no, I mean, first off, it's not unprecedented. This is not.
This is how the NBA works.
There have been many teams.
Many.
And I will talk about.
The Rockets are the Sacramento Queens. That's what you're saying?
No, they're the Utah Jazz.
No,
the Houston Rockets of the
No.
90s.
They're not trying to be either one of them. They're trying to be. Remember the Bulls and
The Pacers?
No, the Bulls in Detroit.
Where they lost 6 years in a
The
row,
Bulls
banging
and,
his head against
The
Boston.
Celtics.
And then all of a sudden he beat him, and then he became the greatest guy in the world. Now I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen to James Harden.
No,
I'm just
but-
saying it's a precedent.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, they didn't do it.
LeBron James went to the NBA Finals 8 years, 9 years, 10 years in a row
9 years.
in the East. 9 years in a row.
Won 3 of them.
That means that there was a team, Toronto Raptors, who continued to lose
Nah,
to
they
this
switched.
man.
Remember
Yeah,
it was Atlanta?
Toronto to
It
4.
was Atlanta, it was
Atlanta for
Indiana,
2, it was
Toronto.
It was all continue to lose to them.
Atlanta.
It was. You don't remember
That
when
was that
Atlanta
one
was?
year with Millsap and when
You don't remember when
Horford
Atlanta
and
was the
with
number one
Horford
ranked team and they
and
thought
with
they
all
was
of them.
gonna give it to the
No,
Bulls?
I do not
See,
remember
you
that.
see, that's that ridiculous history, man. That's that ridiculous
No, I
history.
know.
It's history. They had a really
My,
good
how,
season.
how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, this is true. Another reason they woofing, even the owners out here woofing. Listen to what he had to say.
Very upset right now. They kicked our ass at our home court. They beat us by 10 points in the fourth quarter. It's unacceptable, okay? We just have to be better. And I know that we're gonna rise to the occasion and our time's gonna come. You know, James is 30 years old. Michael didn't win his first championship till 30. Hakeem didn't win his first championship till 30. I can promise you, we're gonna win some championships with James Harden, okay? Because we're not gonna sit here, we will go to battle every year, we're gonna have a strong off season, and we're gonna do whatever we can do to be a better team. Okay, we are not gonna sit on our hands, I can promise you that.
Today on ESPN.
So now,
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
I do. This is a man who owns casinos, so he knows how to bluff. He is bluffing and woofing, bluffing and woofing, bluffing and woofing. Because if you truly had this much outrage, if you were truly this outraged about this loss, you would have made better decisions during the off season. You made business decisions in the off season. You did not make competitive decisions in the off season. Last year's team was better than this year's team, and last year's team wasn't good enough. So then you sat up there and put an even more subpar product out there, and now you try to act like you can't understand why it came up short. You did this.
Okay, you're full of hyperbole.
You're
I don't-
full of
I
it,
mean,
bro.
I don't
Like
think
you're
subpar, it's
Skip
not
Bayless
subpar.
in this
First
Mickey
off,
50.
Yeah, I mean,
Compared to the Warriors, it was
Last year's
subpar.
team-
Yeah,
Last
the
year's
Warriors
team was
aren't
better
par.
than this.
That's
Yes,
not what
last
he
year's
said,
team was
though.
better than this year's
No,
team.
That's not what
Let's-
he
let's-
said.
No.
Lest we forget,
No,
last
no, it
year's
wasn't.
team.
No, it wasn't.
I'm gonna tell you how it was.
Well, now, I think-
Last year, you
Because
had.
if you say one thing about one person,
I'm not
one
gonna say.
person, if you
I
say
prob-
one thing,
I'm
and
not.
that man is not even in the league anymore.
So here it is. You ready? You had 2 players who were perimeter defensive players who could run, who were able to run their shooters off the 3-point line.
Who?
You decided to let in my
Name
two bay, whatever his name is. What's his name?
Did that work?
Boo Matube?
Did I miss?
So now you let him go. You let Trevor Ariza go.
Wait. You know how professional sports work. Don't lie to the people. They did not let them go. They did not say Trevor Ariza and
They decided not to pay him the $20 million.
We don't want
Would
you.
you pay him?
They
You're
decided not
right.
to pay him the $12 million.
You're right. Now,
So again, if you make a business decision instead of making a competitive decision, you can't
Nobody-
then be upset when your team cannot compete.
What did Trevor Ariza do this year?
Nobody paid him $20 million.
What did Trevor
The
Wait
Ariza
till
Suns
they
did.
know they did.
Oh, that's
They
right.
paid him 15.
What you call it? You
They
okay?
paid him 15, and we wasn't gonna pay
But
that.
wait. So you decided to let them go because you can get a what?
What did Trevor Ariza do? What did Trevor
a
Ariza do?
done Carmelo Anthony.
What did Trevor
But
Ariza
wait.
do?
Last year you had 40 points coming off the bench with Lou Williams and Eric Gordon. You decided you didn't want to pay Lou Williams either.
No. You traded Lou Williams to get CP3.
Exactly.
You didn't have him.
You decided you
He
didn't
was
want
not
him
an
anymore
option. He was
either.
the only player that the Clippers wanted.
Exactly.
You decided you didn't want him anymore either.
So you prefer to keep Lou Williams and have Chris Paul last
Is
year?
that
Did
what
you
you
see
say?
what Lou Williams did to the Warriors this year?
Yes. How did they do? How did
He
they do?
lost.
He was by far. Let's
So
just say the best player on the team.
so okay, let's take
Time out.
his production and add it with the Rockets. Does that make a difference?
He was not going to do that on this.
So now when
They
you
went to
add
7
Trevor
games. They went
Ariza,
further
when
than
you
the
add
Rockets. They
Trevor
took that
Ariza, you got
Wrong.
Trevor Ariza.
Trevor Ariza's garbage.
Time out. Why do y'all keep saying Trevor Ariza?
Yeah, where's Hamad? Hamad called.
Why do y'all keep saying?
You
Why?
got Trevor Ariza.
Wait a
You
minute.
got Lou Williams.
Trevor
You got Monta
Ariza.
Tumbe. You got
Who?
whatever his name is.
Luke. Let's just call him Luke.
Luke.
Mop boot.
I don't want to mess it
Wow.
up
You
either.
You let,
I
you,
don't
let
know.
those four, you let those 4 players go who had a great impact on your team last year.
What did they do on any other team this year?
What did they do on your team? They took your team to the exact same point and got that L too.
Well, according
and,
to
and,
you all,
and they took the L by going 0 for 29 and on shooting 3-pointers.
according to you all,
They
had
lost
it not
by
been for
20.
Chris Paul getting injured, they would have won.
They-
So,
Chris Paul at that point in time was giving you 20 and 10 in the
again,
playoffs.
last year's team was better than
This
this
time
year's
it's
team,
giving
and
you
last
12.
year's team wasn't good enough. So then you put a worse team out
It's a
there
moot
this
point.
year, and then all of a sudden you trying to act like you outraged. You
Is it
outraged?
The man said that they lost,
Even
that
though they
they
lost.
were beat, rightfully so. He used another word that I choose not to use, but he said that they were just blatantly whooped out there.
That boy quoted
And
Mike
then
Lola,
he said
lawyer.
that I would like to change that, and then like any owner would say, I have to guarantee something. I guarantee we're gonna win. You notice he said that Jordan wanted 30, Elijah wanted 30, and he did not say that James Harden will win at 30, which is next year. He
No,
said James
no.
Harden will beat 30.
No. What he basically said is
He'll
James
win
Harden is the
eventually.
only one guaranteed a spot here.
Basically, James
That's
Harden
what
will
he
win
said.
as the third best
Yeah,
player on this
absolutely.
team.
He said
Absolutely.
James Harden's the only one guaranteed to be here next year.
Absolutely.
Nah, CP3 too.
Well, he
No,
on the contract too.
CP3 can eat if we just need somebody to take the trade, bro.
Yeah,
Devin
you know
Booker,
that.
what you talking about?
Yeah, right.
Phoenix,
So that's
holla
what
at
you
me.
want. You want Devin Booker.
Phoenix hot, we need a shooter. We need a shooter. We need a shooter.
You also need somebody to play
We need a shooter.
defense.
Sure, but guess what? Everybody needs somebody to play defense. We need a shooter.
So why you calling out Devin Booker? Why not call somebody to play defense?
Who was that?
Paul George.
Oh, okay, the one who chose to
Hey,
stay with the dude
The one who got
he's
a
not
40
leaving,
foot,
bro.
the one who got a 40-footer bust on him.
That ain't no man. Like he
For
said, that's a
Dame.
bad shot, and
Really?
luckily he made
Guess
it.
what? The
Yeah,
ref-
He luckily that was a
It
lucky
didn't
bad
The
shot.
man
Well,
had his
lucky
option
bad
to go
shot.
anywhere, and he
Shot.
chose to stay there and re-sign. That's why I didn't choose him. He's not going nowhere.
You right, but you calling out Devin Booker?
Devin Booker does not
Man,
want to
Devin Booker
lose
ain't
for the
coming
next
here.
10 years.
I
But
guess you
neither
gonna
does
call
Chris
you
Paul,
gonna call
which
you
is
gonna
a
call
big
Kemba Walker too?
No, I don't want Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
Why you don't want Kemba Walker?
Because Kemba Walker does not shoot as well as Devin Booker.
He
Or
get
as a
buckets,
no
though.
shoot. I don't need a nigga to get
Yeah,
buckets. James Harden gets buckets.
You don't need a what?
I don't need a ninja to get buckets. James Harden gets buckets.
Okay, both of y'all calm down. Like,
We need someone that can shoot.
Uh,
And we need someone who can play D, but you know, let's bring Ariza back then since you love him so much.
okay,
No.
so, please don't.
I'm
do
not
that.
saying
Let's
that.
pay
What
him
I'm
$30
saying
million.
is, when you know that
Tita,
your
do not do
team,
that.
you know when your team this year was not as good as it was last year. What's up with the fake outrage?
That is
That's
how
fake
sports
outrage.
No,
work.
it's not
You
fake
can't
outrage.
keep the same team.
Wait, so what you want him to say?
What we should have done was
Wait,
been
no, no.
Golden State and just
He
gone
should have
and
said
acquired
it's
LeBron
my
James.
fault.
That's what we should have
I'm
done.
gonna make sure we
We
better
got
next
LeBron
year.
James.
Not we're going to win championships with James Harden. He should have said it was my fault. I made the poor choices.
He didn't
We
make-
will be
no,
better
no,
next
no,
year.
He didn't play one thing. He didn't put no person on the
It's
court.
not his
He
fault.
wasn't
Not to mention,
GM
he
at
hired
all.
Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah,
We
no.
all know he ain't gonna
he
win
did.
nothing.
Like,
Check it. No, no,
D'Antoni
no.
was there.
No, no. How is it his fault? It's not
He
his
just
fault.
got here.
All he's doing.
It's
okay,
putting money
he
in
happens
there.
to be the owner
The
because
one-
he has his.
Which means he has the final yay
But hold on,
he
or
has
nay or
his
nay.
great grandfather's mob money.
The one
So he
thing.
put that in the buying
he's,
the
he's
team.
going deep in there.
Okay.
He's going deep
Okay,
in
yeah,
there
his great
now.
grandfather's mob money,
Hey.
and he's doing what he has to do.
The one thing
Okay,
though that's
Daryl
in
Morey. Now, if you want to blame
that,
Daryl
now
Morey,
that would
blame
be
him.
the one.
Are they
That
not
would be
synonymous?
He's the golden.
No,
Are
they're
they not synonymous?
They're
Why
one.
not?
Because Daryl Morey was here before
No
him.
general manager can make a decision without the okay of the owner. I guarantee you, the general managers cannot make their
The
choice
owner did
without
not
the.
hire the general
You
manager,
sell fish.
bro.
You cannot
You
tell
cannot
the
tell me
general
how to play
manager.
basketball.
You sell
Bad fish.
yeah, very poorly
You
made
sell
coconut shrimp
catfish.
too.
He owns casinos.
Huh?
He owns casinos.
Yeah, but who can't make money with a casino? The
Bro,
only person
the
who
only
loses money in a
thing-
casino is Donald Trump. And
The
somebody
thing
praying
that
for
hits,
Jesus
the
Christ.
thing that hits Tillman is that they sneakily got under the luxury tax,
Yeah, exactly.
which means that the whole reason for all that summer stuff
Right.
was basically to make sure that they would slide underneath the luxury
Yeah,
tax.
he's just a man who sells above
Because he
below
ain't-
average,
his paper ain't long
overpriced
like that.
food
But
in
it's
all
getting
of his
there.
Restaurants.
It is
And
getting
people
there.
Eat it up, but it's not his fault. I'm not gonna put that on him. Okay.
They have to do better, but what we ultimately need is the Spurs to be better so
Daryl
that
Morey.
they can knock off Golden State in the second round, and then we can see what we can do at that point.
Yeah.
But with DeRozan, I don't know how likely that is, because I don't believe in him either. But now we have a Western Conference Finals set. Golden
Yeah.
State Warriors versus
we
the
do.
Portland Trail Blazers. We have two spectacular point guard matchups.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, did I hear that KD would be coming back for this one, or did they say
And
for the
supposedly
NBA Finals?
Booby Cousins.
Booby coming back
Cousins
for the
is coming
NBA
back
Finals.
too.
Okay.
They said he'll make it for the NBA Finals, but I don't know if
I think
Durant.
they pulling out,
Durant is who
back
they
where?
need.
coming back to sit on that bench.
Booby said they said that Booby should be good, well enough to play in the NBA Finals, which don't happen till June, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's a long
So he
time.
has that would be like 3 months off, right?
He might actually have a shot to do that.
But I don't remember hearing with Kevin Durant. I don't know if they said the NBA Finals or if they said the Western Conference Finals. But I think he could be back. 'Cause that's just a strange.
What is his
calf. That's
injury?
A strange
Supposed
calf.
to be a
That's it.
strained calf. A mild strained calf.
What
That's
basketball
it.
players?
Booby-
But does that not say, does that not
So
also
bad.
say what the Warriors think about the Rockets? They were like, he's not gonna play game 6 or
No,
game 7.
no, but the Golden State Warriors know what everybody else was. Kevin Durant needed the Warriors.
Kevin
The
Durant
Warriors
couldn't
didn't need
have played
him. They were
games.
winning before he got there.
They were the best team in NBA
Before
history.
he got there, remember he couldn't beat them, so
Statistically
he joined
speaking,
them.
no other
All
team
right,
has
so-
won more
so
games than the Warriors.
I never
before
thought that.
Durant.
Hey, they got a chance because Durant's not there. They were beating our ass without Durant, and they were beating everybody else without Durant. So it really doesn't matter.
But y'all said they were beatable.
They were,
So then when,
and they
when-
still are.
So when,
still are.
when so
And they
then
were
when
under
that
Milwaukee.
when
They still have a problem with
when
Milwaukee.
Captain Buckets goes down, all of a sudden it's well, I didn't think that they were going.
Wait, so when they went on a 2-game losing streak in this playoffs, what were you thinking?
That by definition shows that they were beautiful.
When Golden State went on a 2-game losing streak in this round, what were you thinking? You were thinking, yeah, they okay?
They took 2 games off.
Okay. Okay.
They took 2 games off.
But okay, but the
Yeah.
only thing, here's my thing. It is just interesting how when they lose, they took 2 games off.
Yes,
When
because
the
look
Rockets
at how they
lose,
won.
They just can't win.
Whoa.
Game 1 was
How did
5
they-
points, 1 point, 3
How
points.
did they win the first game?
They won the first game by.
On some-
well,
on some
according
ref-
to the Rockets, the ref. Oh, so now we're gonna say the referee
It
gave
was
them
still
that
less
game.
than 3 points. The whole series was less than 10 points. Was less than 10 points. That means every game was was close.
So then, the Rockets almost gave away 3. The Rockets almost gave away 4. Never
I
did they.
tried to advance this.
Again, all the other teams in the playoffs who were facing elimination in Game 6 went out there and blitzed their opponents from the tip. Not the Rockets. They went out there very flat. They went out there with that casual, shooting them bad 3-pointers, which I've been telling y'all about all year, and you've been adamantly defending, and once again, it came up short.
Yeah, but it got them where they got them, so they weren't.
If
gonna
you've been
change.
telling me
They weren't
about
gonna
something
change
all
until the
year,
ninth inning. I mean, it
and
is
then
what
you
it
get
was.
to a game that is the elimination game, if you want them to change what they've been doing all year, then you're not the one I want to listen to then.
I've been
Because
trying to
that's
get them to
absurd,
change what
bro.
they've been doing all year during the season.
Yeah, but they weren't gonna do
They-
that.
why would you do that?
They're
it's-
going to have to blow up the team.
They're
Which
going
is
to have
why-
to blow up the team.
Which is why
That
them
is what
not
is
changing
going
the
to have to
identity
happen.
got them the 4th seed instead of the 2 seed. that
No,
they
because
should
the
have.
same identity got them
That
the
too.
2 seed or
I
the 1
feel you.
seed last.
That got them the 4th seed that they when they should have had the 2 seed.
No, I hear you on
And
that.
then they went out there and they and they lost the important games because they couldn't do what it had to take. Maud, I'm still waiting on you. 713-489-0688. Again, that is 713-489-0688. You are listening to the Garage Apartment. We are here each and every Sunday night from 6 to 7 Central Standard Time.
Team just needs to
Be
shine.
sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website, thegarageapt.com. So
Alright,
now,
so, okay, yeah, what are we going into now?
I finished my little
Sixers,
rant.
Raptors.
I was gonna say, we can go into it very quickly, for those, I'm sure many of you know, but if you don't know, the Portland Trail Blazers have gone on the road and beat the Denver Nuggets
We
and
already
have
talked about
clinched,
that.
their spot
They're not gonna beat Golden State.
in the Western Conference.
And it's going to be.
That's
I
not,
believe-
bro, that's 4-1.
You 4-1, you think?
You saying 4-1 the Warriors?
Number don't
I
work.
don't know. They went 2-2 during the regular season.
Who gives a turkey?
I mean,
The
that's
Rockets
just what
went
you-
3-1 in the regular season.
I mean, hey,
You
that's
still
what
holding
have
on to
go
this regular season, man.
That's what you have to go on to talk about something.
Yeah, but you also put it in context and realize that's the regular
We
season.
can talk about a sport where the regular season matters.
I agree. Say it's a lot of things that happen within the season. You got
What sport?
back to backs.
What sport?
What
What
you gonna
sport
say,
makes?
soccer?
What
Well,
sport
yeah,
in the
yeah,
regular
yeah,
season
yeah.
matters?
Because they have to.
It don't matter. in the
Shout out to
US.
City.
Yeah,
It does
English
matter in the
Premier League.
U.S. This is literally
You're
going
not
to
talking-
pump
you're not
millions
talking-
and millions of dollars out of the U.S. economy,
I
going
don't
all the
hear
way
anything,
across the pond.
anybody talking about that LA, New York City game.
No, that's the MLS.
Yeah, nobody cares
that
about
does
that.
not matter. Okay, let's not get that construed. I mean, it's
And
misunderstood.
MLS is young enough
Yes,
to have playoffs.
you know what I'm
too.
saying, but
So it really doesn't matter.
the
what you do
PL
in
has been
the
around
season.
since 1800s, the English league,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the MLS has been around
And
since
we gonna get to that in a
80s.
little bit. So
It
now
was
to
a very
wrap up,
exciting day.
basketball.
Very exciting.
The Toronto Raptors are playing. Who are they playing?
They're playing the 76ers.
Philly
The
Devils,
76ers
it's
tonight.
18 to 13 as we speak. 18 to 13,
13.
11 minutes in the second
Whose
quarter.
way?
Ooh, what a boring
Toronto.
game. Raptors way. Who cares? 13, 18. It's just, oh.
In the
God.
second quarter, only
In
13
the second
points.
quarter.
Yeah.
Second quarter just started.
God.
Their first quarter was literally
What is Kyle
13 to
Lowry
18.
shooting? What is Kyle Lowry? Here's another one who ain't got it.
I can give you that.
Kawhi
He thinks
Leonard,
he got it, but
Kawhi
he ain't
Leonard is
got it.
3 for
But
8.
you know who else ain't got
Joel
it?
Embiid is 0 for 5.
You know who else ain't got it? Brody. With all those triple doubles, he ain't got it.
Who is Brody? I don't even know who that is.
Brody Croyle.
What's-
Remember he used to
Tell
play
him the number again, dog. Tell him the number again.
713-849. So maybe I'm saying it wrong.
849.
8489-0688.
Wait.
713-489-0688.
Brody is Westbrook.
Yes, Russell.
Oh, I don't refer to him as that.
It doesn't matter. He ain't got it. So what point guard are you
Excuse me,
going?
Joel Embiid is 1 for 8. He was 0 for 3 from the 3 point.
1 for 8.
Yeah, phones ain't working.
So, yeah. We'll work
All right,
on that.
we'll
I
work on
apologize.
that.
We'll work on that.
We'll get with our
Our technical
yes.
IT department, and we'll be back next week.
Absolutely. So now,
You can always comment on Facebook Live or
Absolutely.
while you're listening to us on 92kls.com.
Yes,
Yes,
you
please
can-
go there.
You can actually tweet us.
Yes, you can tweet us as well
For all you people over 35, you can tweet us.
while listening at 92kls.com.
absolutely. So now,
Astros win 15-5 today.
Man,
Let's-
Astros
let's-
on the road.
Let's talk about good stuff.
They're streaking.
yes, let's talk about good stuff. But I was gonna also say, even though we didn't have a playoff game last night, there was still some sports action. It was a very busy night. Oh, I left my notes. Oh man,
In the
a
fight
very
world.
busy night in combat sports.
Yeah, they was boxing.
You had actually a very good fight on PBC on Fox between Swift, what was his name? Jared Hurd. Swift Jared Hurd,
That didn't work out well.
and
Not the quarterback.
Or wide receiver.
Julian Williams.
Julian
That's a lot
J.
of
Rock Williams.
Yeah.
J. Rock.
Hurd out of DC, Williams out of Philadelphia. Actually, two very good fighters. Swift, the undefeated champion, the undefeated super welterweight champion. And J. Rock, who was undefeated until his loss to one of the Charo twins. I don't know which one. He lost one of them.
What I'm
Anyway.
saying, brother. You own two twins. You should understand that.
Because I'll be honest with you, I ain't never really looked at him hard enough to know the difference. But anyway,
Yeah.
he lost one of the Charo twins. Anyway, a very exciting fight. One that Williams went into Hurd's backyard and whooped him. They fought in Virginia, the DMV area, and Williams
Shout
did
out
not
Hardy.
back down, and
Hold
he
it down.
took his title. He gave Hurd his first loss. He took his title. He is now the IBF and WBC super welterweight champion.
Yeah, well, you know, and that was great. And there were some other fights on too, boxing matches, but the big news in boxing was
Harold Letterman passed.
Oh, man. R.I.P.
Okay, Jim.
Yeah, you know.
He's just a busy fighter.
I finally saw a picture of him.
I know, right?
He doesn't look what I thought
Yeah, it
he looked
doesn't look like I thought he
But,
looked
you know,
either.
God bless Harold Letterman. Won't have to hear him scream. His,
Well, he wasn't doing it anymore because
Same
HBO's not
anymore.
showing boxing anymore.
Yeah, I know. God bless Harold Letterman.
Wrong shit.
He was an institution. Big news in boxing is the Manny Pacquiao keeps
Yeah, Manny.
Set for July.
Will not quit.
He has tax trouble. He can't.
I mean, I
stop.
thought that was the last
Won't
one.
stop.
How much? I mean, so what? They need the next 10
Hey,
years? He got to keep
Every
fighting?
Bob Aaron fighter is going to have tax trouble.
Ah, well, that's
very
tell you
ironic.
something
being
right
about
there.
that,
All my,
you know,
Ralpho, listen up.
Shut up.
Listen up. That ain't the way. Don't take that first
How you
check,
got
bro.
Bob Aaron when you got tax trouble? I thought they were great accountants.
Every
Hey,
Bob
part of
Aaron
the
fighter
deal
has
was a
tax
lie.
trouble.
Part
It
of
has
the
also
deal
been
was a
announced
lie.
that Jamel, I don't even know if it's Jamel, another one of those Charo boys, I don't know which
Okay,
one.
it's Charlo.
Charlo, another one of the Charo twins.
Charlo was a salsa dancer.
Yeah, with the
He will be fighting
Or some beans.
in June,
Nah.
June 29th here in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Efferton.
Efferton.
We're gonna try our best to get out there for y'all.
Efferton.
Hey, y'all meet us there.
At the NRG Arena. Some other fights that were on last night, we had rematches between Emmanuel, how you say his name?
Dogbo.
Dogbo.
Yeah.
And
You're horrible with African surnames.
Cause I
Yes,
don't
I like
speak
it.
them too much.
It's how your tongue's supposed to work naturally. All right, you've been on.
That's what she said.
Ah, that was a good one, right? That was a good one.
No, that's not.
Beat me
I
to
mean,
it.
if she
She
said
said
it,
it.
Because I know you.
She said that.
Because I know you.
If she said that,
She
we
said
still,
that you in trouble.
yeah, we need to talk. You know what I'm saying? If she said that to
But
I was
no.
supposed to
Your
work.
mouth is supposed to. Those types of names supposed to come out of them. Good.
Pause.
You're not supposed to be able to say Washington and Williams and Staremski and all that old crazy stuff.
I can't say that either.
Names.
Sure.
Anyway,
So yes, they fought to a rematch, and what's his name again?
what? His name
Dog-
is Dogbo, man.
Dogbo lost
It's
again.
exactly as it looks. It's Dogboe.
Is it B-O-E or is it B-E?
Dogboe.
B-O-E. Dogbo.
No, Dogbo.
Dogbo.
Yeah.
Dogbo lost again. He was knocked out in the 12th round.
I mean, I saw that fight.
He knocked out
I
in the
watched
12th
that fight.
round.
It was very interesting. The height differential of the
Yeah,
two
but
fighters.
what's interesting was you put your face out there to get beat.
Yeah, well,
So yeah, so
my
there is
African fighters, you must cover your ears. The earmuffs block the face.
that. Yeah.
Oh, also an interesting story, I forgot to mention this. J. Rock Williams, who is also a
The rapper?
Muslim.
The rapper?
No, the boxer who just won the title. He's also a Muslim. He was training while doing Ramadan. This is currently the holy month of Ramadan. So I found that to be extremely impressive. To be able to train, to have to be as competitive and as strong as he was in his fight, and to earn himself a title in his opponent's backyard. I was impressed with his victory.
That Negro probably ate
How do you say? Big Mar.
Yes.
Want to fight at night?
First off, he fought at night, so he ate.
He
Lamar?
He
I said he trained during Ramadan.
I mean,
He trained
they
during-
all-
How long
that was
Ramadan
just
been
probably-
going on?
It's about a week right now.
Yeah, Ramadan, man, that moving up a month every year,
It's been going on for about a week right now.
that's crazy.
Shout
But
out to all my Muslims, happy Ramadan.
I'm sure. I mean, what? How many hours you train?
$250.
It don't matter if
Or-
you're training and not having the ability to eat or drink during the day.
It ain't
that
like
is
you gotta go to
impressive.
work. You
So
just-
that means he either
Sleep
trained.
during the day,
That means he
sleep
either
all
stayed
day.
up all night
Yeah,
and
you probably
trained.
trained all night.
He either stayed up all night and trained
Yeah,
and slept
probably.
all day, or he trained during the day and couldn't eat and drink. Either way, it's impressive.
I mean, Floyd doesn't
Either Floyd is what?
train all night.
Yeah, he also eats everything he wants to. String cheese and
So good.
Hey,
The other
man,
dude.
tell him what you was telling me over the phone a couple of days ago. Mine was advocating us to eat pork
When was I advocating you to eat pork?
well, it don't matter because I ain't listening.
because he was
So
like,
now-
cause hey, you might live to 125.
No. That's not at all what I was doing. First, I mean, eat what you want to eat. You know, I mean.
He says that now.
No.
He's been eating pepperoni lately.
Well, you gonna slander the man? Let him defend himself.
Yeah,
Let's go.
no.
What'd you say,
That's not
Mom?
what I said at
What'd
all.
you say?
I was trying to motivate you to do the right thing because you talk about I don't eat pork because it's dirty, but you eat every goddamn thing else.
So you was calling him on his snuff.
And I was
What
like,
are you-
look at the longevity in your family. Like you talk about, well, this person ate pork, but everybody 90. Like you could probably be 150 if you would do what you're supposed to do. Like
Just eat
a
pork.
pork chop is gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Triple cheeseburger and everything else. You know, I mean, you can talk about that all you want about I don't eat pork.
with the extra mayonnaise and what did he do? Whoa!
That's not what I was
You
saying.
made me think about the Waffle House.
Yeah, the Waffle House that night, right? He wouldn't eat the bacon,
He
but
wasn't
that's what he
eating
put
it.
everywhere else.
But he smashed on everything else. That boy had like 3 waffles with peanut butter, syrup,
Yeah,
butter.
peanut butter and syrup and pure butter. Like, you wild out. I'm not eating that pork.
I want the cheese grits
Yeah.
with the, oh my God. But yeah, he was like, you can take the pork. You can
Yeah.
take
I'm not gonna eat these 3 pieces of bacon. That'll kill you.
I see nothing wrong. Peanut butter is good for you.
That'll kill you. That'll kill you. Hey,
High source of protein.
Hey, but that raw beef fat, just throw it right on my
Alright,
grill.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Hey,
Just throw some fat.
that's grass
Just throw some
fed
fat
right
right
there.
on
Oh
my
my
grill.
goodness.
No.
That's grass.
Okay,
grass
don't
fed.
misrepresent what we're talking about.
So now, just to wrap up the fight, the combat sports was like, there was also, Vargas and that other dude. They fought to a rematch.
Mhm.
And it ended the same way.
Anderson?
Vargas
Oh,
put
no.
on his stool
No,
in
we're
the
not
6th
talking about
round.
that.
That was actually a very entertaining fight too. Both of them being Mexican fighters, of course, you know, they just punch and they don't care about getting hit. They just keep punching.
I
And
never
so
heard
that's
no
what they
Mexican
did.
fighter
They
get up
both.
on the stool though.
That's why I
He can't go
also.
back home.
That's why I also say Canelo Alvarez is.
Canelo Alvarez never gave up on the stool though.
Oh.
This is true. This is true. Anyway,
That's the courtesy of
the
combat.
UFC. The UFC also had an interesting card.
Man, the undercard went down.
They fought in Rio de Janeiro. We had a fighter out of Beaumont,
Yeah, right.
Mr.
Man.
Span, who actually knocked out a Brazilian in
First
Brazil.
Hey, does
First
anybody
round.
else hate Brazilian Portuguese as much as I do?
First round.
hate Brazilian
So,
Portuguese?
Oh God, the language, you ever heard it?
Yeah, but
I'm
That's just speak Spanish.
That's how all of them talk.
hey, look at Mod with the
Free Portuguese lesson.
That sounds
it
so
sound
weird.
like rappers.
It sounds weird. And then Anderson Silva, when he talk, he sounds so Cory Booker-ish with it.
Why you snap and throw that? What is that about?
Did you see it though?
I mean,
that's
it
a
will mess
beautiful
you
talk.
up because you would look at this dude and be like, this cat's soft as a rug.
So now,
But he'll knock you out.
every fight in the UFC 237 featured a Brazilian fighter, and it actually was not a good night for the Brazilians. Several of them lost.
That's
Several
hard. They was doing well.
of them lost. However, they did have a big win. Josie Aldo lost. Anderson Silva had to quit. He was injured during his fight. But Rose Rose Nama
Say.
something.
I'm gonna give you that one. Don't even worry about that.
She was dropped on her head.
What, Thug Rose was dropped on her head?
Oh, y'all didn't see it?
Oh,
my God.
Jesus.
And the crazy part was she was whooping old girl. She was whooping the Brazilian girl. Whooping her. But old girl had nothing
Like she
else
was
to
dropped
do.
like
So
that.
she grabbed her, picked her up in air, and slammed her on her head.
Like on her head, like she hit the back
No,
of her
this is
head.
just, no. Slammed her on her head.
And she power
You know how you got a box and you just want to hurry up and get rid of it, and so you drop it? She slammed her on her head.
She power dropped.
Was she done after that?
What's she done after that? You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Was
She's
she alive?
To me,
You
though,
mean
because-
literally.
She
on her
slammed
head.
her
but-
on her head.
Yeah,
Is
but-
she alive?
But
Sounds
see,
dangerous.
but
She
see-
was alive.
But see,
I'm gonna tell you how bad it was. She got slammed on her head, and the referee came to check on her. She was like, call this, call it,
now,
I'm
I'm
done.
not that into MMA, but I do know that in the rules, unified MMA rules, this is why you don't see pile drivers and DDT
Yeah.
and stuff, because you're not supposed to be able to drive
To
somebody's
land
head
on that
into
head.
the mat.
Kind of a
Slam.
bad.
Why do so many fights end that way?
I'm gonna see if I can put
And
it on our
nobody ever
Twitter.
gets in trouble.
I'll see if I can put it on our Twitter.
Yeah.
So you guys can see what I'm talking about when I
So-
say she was slammed on her head.
So it's
Mind
not-
you, she tried to do it earlier in the fight, and Rose scared her with an arm bar, and so she didn't do it. But the second time, she said, "Forget it, I'm already losing. Let me drop this girl on her head."
Hey,
So, but that wasn't a penalty, right? That's
No,
just
she
fighting.
won the fight.
Okay,
Yeah, which
that's
it
what
should be.
so is
That's
Thug
my
Rose
thing.
done? Is her career done?
She's talking about retiring. And
Yeah.
now that's
That's
another
the
thing
one
I
that just
feel.
dropped on the head, right?
No. But she got up like wasn't nothing wrong after. A few
Yeah,
minutes.
this
After
time.
a few minutes.
After this time.
Look, after a few minutes.
After a few
After a few minutes, she got up like wasn't nothing wrong.
You
with it.
know.
But anyway,
After they took out the ambulance.
this is the issue I have with it, right?
After they put her in the coffin.
This is the
The
issue I
Ultimate
have.
Warrior kicked out the door. It was like,
Right.
Because this is the issue I have. When she's
Oh.
and you know, because I had Ronda Rousey did the same thing, and I've noticed that a couple other fighters are doing it. When they champions, oh, they don't care nothing about being hurt. You know, they front runners. Oh, this is great. I love this sport. I about whoop to whoop to whoop to whoop. And then you lose and you get whooped, and then it becomes, I don't know if I should be taking this kind of punishment.
No, they're
I don't
women.
know if it's
They're
worth
not- I
this."
mean-
do you know the weight class of this?
They were the light ones, the bantamweights.
No. Straw.
Yeah, I was saying they the small ones. They the small girls. Yeah.
So you could literally be like,
Cause Thug Rose is like 5'5".
you could literally be like,
Yeah, she's like 5'5". I think 117. I think she weighed in at 117.5.
Yeah.
I have high schoolers that weigh more than that.
Yeah, I mean, but you
Kyle
know.
Lowry
I think I was. Look, I think I weighed more than that at 10.
Kyle
Yeah,
Lowry
yeah,
got hurt.
probably. But I mean, you're not gonna have women. You know, I mean, not to be sexist, but they're still women. I mean, it's like when she got dropped on her head, she was like, "I'm never gonna have babies. I'm never gonna do anything. I'm never gonna get married. I'm gonna be blowing out." What's
I mean,
Christopher
I would
Reeve's
think
doctor
when
name again?
anyone, see,
Yeah,
I would think
that's
when
what she's
anyone
thinking.
gets dropped on their head,
Yeah.
they would be thinking about this is probably not the right
Oh,
career
really?
choice. No, just
You
simply
get dropped in the
not the
head.
right
She
career.
talked big nose when she had that belt. All of a sudden you lose the belt and it ain't worth it no more. Get out of here with that.
No, it's not worth
Thug
it.
not
Rose,
worth
man.
dying.
That's her nickname. Thug Rose.
Exactly, your name Thug Rose. You claim you took the fight in Brazil because you that bad. And then when you get dropped on your head, all of a sudden, I don't know.
Out of the mean
Yeah,
streets of
you're a
Milwaukee.
lady. You're a lady.
Out of the mean streets of Milwaukee.
Update on the
Last
game
10 years,
7.
no guys are trying
Toronto
to
is
get on
up
there, you know,
33 to
it's
29.
hard.
So now,
Like
last 10 minutes, fellas, this is
Nobody
this
sit
is for
on me in
you.
the last 10 years.
Last 10 minutes of first off, let me
People
let
always trying to
everybody
get
know.
with
Yeah, what we listening
Those
to?
of you who don't know, you are listening to the Garage Apartment.
Yeah.
We're here each and every Sunday night from 6 to 7 Central Standard Time. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our website, thegarageapt.com. For those of you who are our rugby fans, first off, let me say hello. And secondly, the Houston SaberCats had to postpone their game
They
due to
didn't
the
have
weather.
That means
Tripped
they
out.
didn't take that
It's
L,
all-
baby. Losing streak averted.
They postponed their grand opening of Aviva Stadium.
I mean,
guess
but
the game on
technically the whole
25th.
city pretty much shut down.
I
that
guess
day
the
as
game
well.
on the 25th will be the new grand opening.
Hey,
I'm
bring it
assuming.
on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now, Gentlemen, let's go. You got the jersey on, D.
You see it. All right. I want to say, to those that don't know, the English Premier League concluded today. That's the soccer league over in Britain. And Manchester City became victorious, second year in a row, back to back.
How many is that overall, sir?
I want to say that it's 4 or 5 overall. Not exactly sure. I want to say it's probably 5 overall. But yeah, so they won it back to back. 2 times Pep has come over. That's the manager, Pep Guardiola, formerly of Barcelona. He came over to Manchester United and just continued his winning ways.
I didn't get a chance. I know
He
we
came
talking
over
about
to
the
where?
but I didn't get a
Manchester
chance to
City,
see
excuse me.
who won Champions League.
Champions
Nobody
League
yet.
final has not
Champions
occurred
League
yet. The
is
two
okay.
final
Okay.
teams are Tottenham and
Oh,
Liverpool.
that's right. I knew it was 2 English teams in it. I had.
Which
There's
brings up.
4.
We
There's
just lost a
4.
listener.
We're
There's
just
4.
talking. Come back, Trey.
Ernest.
Come back. I'm gonna get to
don't
your
be like
team
that,
soon.
Trey.
Right? We're gonna get to your team.
There's 4 English teams in
the 2 highest
in
champions.
the 2 European club finals.
So Manchester City and Liverpool were tied basically coming into the day. We're not tied.
3 London teams.
Manchester City had to win. They won,
One of them
and
very special.
Manchester City champions yet again. Liverpool not yet again. Which brings
But
us
they have a
to
chance to win the Champions League.
they have, which some people might put a tad bit higher than the EPL.
Yeah, which everybody puts it.
I don't know about everybody.
Yeah, they-
Once one, 3
You can
month
hang your hat on
experience,
being
the
the
other one
Champions
is.
League champion, but not your
You're
own
the
league
champion of Europe.
The Champions League is technically
You're the
everybody
champion
who
of
has
Europe.
won the league in
That's
Europe.
like being national champions without being conference champions.
In a sense, yeah.
That's whack.
In
No,
a
it's not
sense.
like it's a
It's like being the
It's a
NBA
knockout
champion
tournament.
and not winning the gold medal.
Yeah, like when you're in England, you got to kind of pick one or the other in a sense. But I mean,
It depends on how you look at it, because
Manchester
Manchester
City
City,
is notoriously bad in that tournament, though.
in that term, horrible. But they have a chance to win the title for which they did for the champions. For the actual league. Then there are 2 other tournaments that occur in Britain that they also have won or have a chance to win. Which brings us to Manchester United, the city across the way, which didn't quite do so well this year.
Did you just poop on them?
I would love to
It's
do
all
so.
good. Can Trey call in because I want
He
to talk to him
can't
about
call
this.
in.
Because he
Oh,
was,
Sanchez has
oh,
got
he
to go,
was
but the
talking
mustache
hard
has got
stuff.
to stay.
He was talking hard stuff
Mustache
when we
has got
lost
to stay.
Alexis Sanchez to him. I was like, you didn't have him?
For those that don't know, Alexis
We lost
Sanchez
Thierry Henry. We
is
can
the
lose
highest
too.
paid player on Manchester United's team, and I think
Yeah.
he's played 1 game in the last 2.
Yeah, and for all you young, all you young athletes like that, this guy's the highest player. This guy makes all that money in like 5'5". So consider
Very
something.
short, kind of stocky, if you will.
Consider
I want to say he makes $500,000 a week.
Oh, did you see his incentives? That's why him and Pogba don't get along.
No,
He gets
what-
$75,000 for each goal he scores. He only scored 1 in the league.
And Pogba led the team in goals.
And 25,000 for
And
each
he's leading.
assist. Pogba gets 50,000 for a goal and 20,000 for an assist, and they don't get along because of that.
Because that other guy is trash. But that also brings us to someone else's favorite team.
Who's that?
One Arsenal football.
Yeah. We're gonna win the Europa League.
Gunners.
So we're getting in the Champions League. We're
So
gonna beat Chelsea.
where does that rank for those who don't know? Where
That's
does that rank?
that's the second tier
Tournament.
championship tournament amongst all the clubs in Europe.
So you win the Champions League is for the winners,
Yeah.
Right.
and the
I am
Europa,
the
I am the
Champions
champions, and the Europa is for those.
Like runners up and cup winners.
Yes.
Okay, so Arsenal will be playing Chelsea, another London side, in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Ah,
Interesting thing that doesn't, like, we think we got problems over here. Arsenal, one of their starting midfielders, his name, Henrik Mkhitaryan.
oh
We call him
man.
Mickey. And they
Might
have
not make it
asked
home.
if, they've asked FIFA to guarantee his safety in Azerbaijan because Armenia and Azerbaijan don't get along. It's like Borat, with Uzbekistan. So
They're literally trying to kill him when he comes off the
yeah,
plane.
they're literally worried about him being poisoned or murdered once he goes to Azerbaijan. He didn't go because we played a group match in Azerbaijan, and he didn't even get on the plane. He didn't even sit on the bench to go to that one earlier in the
So
season.
he's like, your boy.
So he's like,
Portland,
Cantor.
yeah,
Enes
Enes
Kanter.
Kanter. Also
No.
came out.
Enes Kanter never has to go back to Turkey. This guy has a champion.
He
this
has to
guy
play
has
here
this-
every year, really.
This guy has
they're
the
gonna
biggest
stay
match
out
of
of
his
Europe.
career, and he possibly can't go because he might be killed. And Enes Kanter is going to be killed by his own government. Hopefully not. This guy can't go
Yeah.
to this place
If he
because
goes home, which he
he's an
won't
enemy
do.
combatant, and they might kill
The
him.
U.S. ain't gonna let him go, man.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to
so-
come back. They're gonna have to come in and take him,
Yeah.
which they have
They
been
might
known to
jail
do.
him.
If
Maybe
you,
Kim Kardashian can help Nikki out.
no,
So she
because
could
where
get
he
back
gonna
folks out of
go?
jail.
Yeah, my boy Marty, did he at least send us a message or something?
He
I
tried
wonder-
to call. The
man.
phones are not working. What several people are saying,
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to
we've
get
been
with
live on
the IT. He's been messaging.
We've been live on the Facebook
so,
Live.
What am I talking about? Now, if he's messaging, what is he saying?
He wanted to
He
talk
was talking
to you.
about the Rockets, yes,
It's
because
over now.
everybody knows you're absurd in the
Yeah.
comments that you're making.
We
And
really-
multiple
we
people
really
were
needed
going
Lamar. See,
against you.
Lamar could combat you on that.
But we
hard
were
part.
saving you from the mob,
Yeah.
which was getting pretty riled up.
Lamar was gonna chop you up, man.
Yeah, Lamar, stop it, Lamar. You know.
We gotta work with you, so we can't. You know, we-
Lamar,
we
you
gotta
know what
let
it
you
is.
eat.
You and I have sat down.
You might have got Lamar to curse.
Ah!
What in the Sam Cassell?
I remember that, right?
If you could get the king of R&B.
I love you, boy. I miss you, homie.
What in the Sam
Oh man,
Cassell?
what in the Sam Cassell? Oh.
Yeah, we needed you, Lamar. We sorry the phones didn't work, man. We needed you to come.
I'm sorry,
back.
everybody.
Yeah,
that
a
wanted
couple
to
other
call
people
up.
tried to call too,
We're
man.
gonna make
So
sure we get that together, man. So now, are we finished with?
Yeah, we're pretty down. Manchester
I
City
mean,
is the champions. Liverpool
again,
runners-up.
Manchester United
Make
lost
sure you reiterate that. I
again.
mean.
And then the transfer season is now upon us.
Who's in the FA Cup?
And
final?
so that is Manchester City versus, I want to say somebody poor, like I don't know, Watford or somebody like that.
Yeah, Watford. Watford makes the final though.
So
They make the final a lot.
the transfer season,
They're gonna
or
go to
in
Europe
America
again
they
this
would
year.
call it free agent period, I guess. Except they're not free agents; they actually belong to teams, but you can simply go buy them as if they were slaves. Like it's pretty amazing.
No,
when
you buy
think
their
about it.
contracts.
Okay, yes, you can't buy people anymore.
And then,
You
and
buy
then once
their
you buy them,
contracts.
you have to pay them millions.
And
upon
then you
millions
pay
of
them their
dollars.
money,
Please do
and
not
then they have to
chattel
come over.
slavery.
No, I'm not saying it is slavery at all. I'm just saying you're buying people.
Yeah,
But-
you are. When you're buying players, you're buying contracts. But
So
whatever.
that is an interesting time because a lot of money is spent. People move all over the world. It
See that
often
with
makes
Chelsea, they
or
can't
breaks
buy
teams.
nobody
Chelsea
over
has
the age
been
of
banned. They
16.
cannot buy anybody, so they've got that boy
They
Christian
can only sign
Pulisic
players 16 and under.
coming in, and that's about. But they also have literally
cheating.
the most young players in England that are just on other people's teams. Which they
Yeah,
can
we
literally
got a
just
bunch of
call
people
back
on
no
that,
matter how
yeah.
important they are, no matter what
The
games they
Astros.
have up. They're basically the Astros. Just
Yeah. Speaking of owners,
traded
with
to
mob
loan
money.
people out.
Yeah.
The Astros?
No, I'm talking
I was gonna
about
say, I
Roman
hope Crane ain't got mob
No,
money.
I'm talking about Roman Abramovich.
Oh, not enough though, not long
He got
enough,
real
because he's
mob
selling
money.
it as well.
So now, before we get
Russian
out of here,
mob.
first off, let me get a big shout out to the
Mothers.
Marshall. Well, yes,
Oh.
to the Marshall track
They
team,
correct, right?
Okay.
coached by Yates alum and Lloyd Banks III.
Oh,
They-
Man,
Lloyd
shout out, I
Banks.
know, right?
They
The
have
Ratchet
won-
Unit.
They have won the state title 4 years in a row. No, this is
Wow.
their 5th straight title.
Oh, break
This is
them
their
up.
5th straight title. They swept their relays. They won the 4x1, the 4x2, the 4x8, and the mile relay.
You say
They got
5
Kenyans over
years?
Who they got? Who?
They got Kenyans over there. They won the mile relay.
They won the
You
mile
say
relay.
5 years in a row?
5
So
years
he
in a
done
row.
brought a whole new class of cats in there.
Absolutely.
And
won.
still, check the water.
So shout out to
Shout out.
No, they gotta
shout
do
out
is
to
check
the
the
Marshall
zone.
track
Check
team.
this out, it's Fort Bend Marshall, you know.
There's a lot of kids
It's a
off
big
of
zone.
Oh, boy,
Hey, it's a bunch of boys
It's
from
from-
my
it's
hood
from
over
inner
there.
city
Hey,
all the
follow
way
me.
to the
Yeah, follow me,
suburbs.
look, follow me.
Please,
Mike.
all of
Please
us
do.
can go
Hey,
over there.
what that boy from Strike do?
You know,
he
I
won.
need
He
to
set
pay
the record
attention.
in
White
the long
Ranger.
jump.
White
set the
lightning.
record in the long jump.
What do you do at
again.
100 though?
It's 100.
Oh, he broke the record again. It's on ESPN. Let me find that for you. Let me find
He
real
broke
quick,
it
real
at
quick.
the UIL
I don't know if he
championship.
broke it. He won. Let me see
Yeah,
what
White
it said.
Lightning.
And
White
shout out to
is-
all the mothers.
Absolutely.
Both of his
Cindy
parents look white to
Jones.
me. I don't know why y'all
Happy
keep talking about
Mother's,
his
Happy
Happy
boys
Mother's
knows
Day
this
to
and that.
all of
Yes,
our mother listeners.
Look up his parents, both of them white.
Cynthia Jones,
I know y'all
Randy
don't want to
Gowan.
believe
I'm
that
not
white
saying-
dudes are
I'm not
rose
saying
guys,
he's black.
He's not
but
white.
He is white. I saw his
Cynthia
mom and his
Jones.
daddy on TV.
So his daddy white?
Yes.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Man, you seen that boy have?
Check.
Yes.
You don't get hair like that being
Yes,
white.
you do. That's
No,
a
you
white
don't.
kid with curly
Jamar
hair.
Jones,
No, ain't no
Sarah
such
Stop
thing.
trying to claim this
Tamika
dude.
Ain't no
Jones.
such thing.
You can't claim everybody that's
The only
successful.
time white people hair get curly is when they perm it.
No, it's no.
Stacey Days.
They do the exact opposite to our hair.
Dude, stop playing.
White
Okay?
lightning is not white.
White lightning is
Oh,
white.
Have you
Okay.
seen the nose on white lightning?
Oh,
I
no,
don't
that-
care about white lightning's nose. White lightning is white,
Man, that man is black.
and you can't deny it.
Well, I want to say thank you all.
What's his real name? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you his parents off the camera.
Anyway, hey, we'll have to keep this conversation going later.
Doesn't matter if you black or white.
Absolutely, we'll leave it there. You are listening to the Garage Apartment. We're here each and every Sunday night from 6 to 7 Central Standard Time. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Sounds like Vince.
Be sure to check out our new website, thegarageapt.com. Man, y'all have a wonderful week. Stay blessed. Be good. If you can't be good, then be good at it. Happy Mother's Day to all. Look at this black
Oh,
black
good night.
This is his son, Majority. That's daddy on the left, mama on the right.
Man, that boy adopted then, man.
He's not adopted.
Anyway, man, y'all be good. Holla.
Where his biological mama at?
Stop being
I'm
racist.
gonna
What are
say,
you talking
man,
about?
you
You
never
look nowhere near
adopted,
black.
You just gonna take his pants
You
from
look nowhere near black.
Bro, and now look, bro, I'm telling you. Now look here. You watch PBS?
Man,
no,
boy, black,
you don't
man.
have cable. Well, if you watch PBS, you
don't
know
need
him and
PBS
Louis
to watch
Gates
cable.
got his own show, right?
Yeah.
On that show, you know what he does? He goes
He
through
traces
everybody's
the history, yeah.
ancestry. When I tell
Ancestry.
you, every white person on there has some black in that family. Every black person on there has white in that family.
Yeah, that's fine, and I appreciate you on that. But
Man,
this
boy,
boy
black,
might be
man.
1/20th black,
Hey, well, guess
and that
what?
don't count. That's like all y'all count Meghan Markle as black. That ain't no black woman.
All right, y'all check us out later on. We might have a midweek thing going on. Shout out.
Summer we're really gonna crank up
Holla at
this
you.
week stuff, yo. For real. Summer we gonna crank it up, fella. I mean, everybody, you know what I'm saying? We'll have midweek shows all throughout the month, and then the wrap-up show on Sunday. Game blouses.
That's his daddy right there.
Why Danny got this thing coming up?
What are you talking about?
Mama was living foul,
Mama was
man.
not living foul. It's a white kid, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I know it blows up your entire.
Doesn't grow mine at all. I still don't
whatever.
like white, black, whatever.
Where you
I'm
going
just
college?
saying.
Okay, we're still live on YouTube.
Okay, I be going to straight, bro. Why you go to straight, bro? Why you ain't go to Scarborough? Why you ain't go to Lamar? Why you ain't go anywhere in
Why you
that
go to